So in Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist, we get to this incredible moment where the main character, a young shepherd, has to make a choice that will literally define his entire life. It's love versus destiny. Today, we're going to dive into the series of incredible tests that lead him to that one profound decision. And really, this whole dilemma boils down to one huge question that the story keeps asking. Is knowing what's coming a good thing or a terrible one? Are you better off knowing the future or just living in the moment and letting things happen?
The book gives us this really powerful warning from a seer, and the logic is, if you know something bad is on its way, you don't just get to prepare for it, you're forced to suffer through the anxiety and fear long before it even happens. You basically suffer twice. It's a heck of an argument for just staying present, right?
Okay, so this is where our hero, Santiago, comes in. He isn't out there trying to read the future or anything, but the future comes crashing into his head in this sudden, really violent vision of an attack on this peaceful oasis where he's found safety and love.
But here is the key, and this is so important. The vision he has, it's not like fate that's set in stone. It's an omen. Think of it like a message from the universe, a warning shot that's being given to him for one reason and one reason only, so he can change it. It's a call to action.
The moment he decides to do something about it, he's immediately caught in this epic showdown. On one hand, you've got his gut feeling, this omen. But on the other hand, you have centuries of sacred law that says what he's warning against is absolutely impossible.
So what does he do? He walks right into the lion's den. I mean, can you imagine? He's a total stranger, an outsider, and he's about to tell these incredibly powerful leaders that their most fundamental rule is about to be broken. You could cut the tension with a knife.
And this is where it all comes to a head. The chieftains, they lay down the law. The oasis is neutral. Nobody attacks an oasis, period. But the boy is smart. He doesn't argue. He just says, look, I can only tell you what I saw. It's up to you what you do with it. He puts the ball right back in their court. But then the head chieftain, this super wise old guy, does something absolutely brilliant. He doesn't just dismiss it. He finds a kind of paradox, a deeper truth right there inside their own traditions that says, hey, we're also supposed to listen to the desert. It's the perfect way to hear the boy out.
So they agree. They'll actually break their neutrality and get ready for a fight. But, and this is a huge but, the stakes could not be higher. If he's right, he gets rewarded with gold for every 10 enemies they defeat. If he's wrong, well, that's it. Game over. His life is on the line.
The next day, the attack happens, just like he saw. The oasis is saved. The boy gets his reward. You'd think he's in the clear, right? Nope. Just when he thinks he's passed the test, he's hit with an even more sudden, even more terrifying trial.
Picture this. He's walking alone. Under the moon, it's dead silent. And then, bam! Out of nowhere, the silence is just shattered. A massive gust of wind knocks him flat, and a huge cloud of dust blots out the sky.
And out of all this chaos, this figure appears. It's like something straight out of a legend. A warrior on a huge white horse, dressed head to toe in black, a falcon on his shoulder, his face completely covered. Just pure, intimidating power.
And his voice just booms across the desert, demanding to know who was the one who read the omen of the hawks. And then he pulls out this massive, curved sword, and the moonlight glints off the steel as he points it right at the boy.
Now you'd think he'd be terrified, right? But he doesn't run. Instead, he feels this strange sense of calm, almost joy. He thinks to himself, you know what? This is a worthy death. To die following my destiny and for the woman I love. And he just lowers his head, ready for it.
And that's when we realize what was really going on. The horseman, who turns out to be the alchemist, lowers his sword. It was never about killing him. It was a test. A final test for the single most important quality you need to understand the universe: courage.
So he's proven his courage, and he's found love. Now comes the hardest choice of his entire journey. The alchemist is ready to go, ready to lead him to the treasure at the pyramids, but the boy suddenly wants to stay put.
He basically tells the alchemist, I think I'm done. I'm good. You know, he's got some gold, he's got respected position, and most of all, he has Fatima. In his mind, she is the treasure. So why should he risk everything to keep going?
The alchemist doesn't argue with him. Instead, he paints a picture, a prophecy, really, of a life built on fear. and it is devastating. He lays it out step by step how their perfect love would slowly sour, turning into regret and blame until the dream he abandoned just haunts them in silence.
And this right here is the core lesson of the entire book. The Alchemist explains that true love, the kind that speaks the language of the world, it doesn't hold you back. It doesn't trap you. It actually propels you forward. If you give up your dream for love, he says, it wasn't the right kind of love to begin with.
And with that one piece of wisdom, everything just clicks into place. The boy's choice becomes totally clear, and it leads him and us to a whole new way of understanding what love is really all about.
The second he says it, "I'm going with you," all that conflict inside him just vanishes. It's replaced by this deep sense of peace. The decision is made. But now comes the hard part. He has to say goodbye to Fatima, and their farewell is where they completely redefine their love.
And what happens is just beautiful. The boy starts trying to explain why he loves her, giving her all the reasons, and she stops him. She tells him something so simple but so profound. One is loved because one is loved. You don't need a reason. Love isn't a transaction. It just is. And that frees both of them.
And what follows is this amazing transformation in her. Her whole world flips upside down. The oasis, which was her entire life, suddenly feels empty. And the desert, that vast, barren landscape, now becomes the ultimate place of hope, because that's the path that will one day bring him back to her. And so, the story ends by turning that question back on all of us. It asks you to look at your own life, at the people you love and the dreams you're chasing, and ask yourself, what is my personal legend? And what choice am I going to make for it?